You know, that's a good question. It's kind of both. It depends on my approach. There's times where I think I just pull from the years of experience and I go to a wall and I just go bananas. A lot of times the energy that's around me is what I use as inspiration, and I kind of funnel that into the art piece. But of course, there are times where I'll have a design that I'll sketch out and I was like, ooh, I really want to paint this, and then I wait till I find a wall that suits it best and I rock it out. So it kind of goes both ways. It just depends on, I guess, where I'm at in the time and you know, my inspiration at that particular moment. The next biggest project I'm working on, if you haven't heard about it, it's super awesome. It's called HUE Mural Festival, definitely inspired by Houston first. And essentially we're gonna rock it out, and we're working with a lot of local talent, national talent, international talent, and we're gonna really showcase Houston as grand as it is, not only to the local citizens, but we're gonna showcase Houston around the world, working with a ton of great people, Edo Management District, Easton Management District, Washington Arts District, Ground Control, Warhouse. I mean, it's going to be a group effort, but it's going to be awesome, so stay tuned. Well, you know, I try to lead by example. That's kind of the best way I can describe that, and I try to give back as often as possible. It's hard for me to pick up an actual mentor type of person, because I guess I'm always on the go, and I always want to try to dedicate as much time to somebody. But what I try to do the best is go into the school system, especially junior high, high school level, and talk to the art classes, or just talk to the students and let them know that it's okay to pursue a career in the arts. But for the most part, I try to lead by example. That's a good question. You know, yeah, I have dabbled in other materials like paintbrushes and whatnot, but I just found that I feel more at ease, I feel more at home using spray paint. It's the medium that I started with, and I think that I've honed my skills down enough to accomplish what I need with a spray can. However, that being said, I do use mixed media from time to time, as far as, you know, paint pens, markers, paint brushes. So essentially whatever it takes to get the job done right is what I'll do, but for the most part, 90% of what I do is spray paint based. I think the hardest part for me, or the challenge, was to create something that was abstract enough to leave open for interpretation, but also, I guess, easy enough for people to view and intake without, basically at a glance you kind of get the picture. A lot of people don't really understand it, or maybe they don't really know what's more about it, but when you look at it, what I was thinking of and envisioning was the representation, or at least my representation of what Houston is for me, and that is this visual quilt. I wanted to create this tapestry. So when you look at the Houston is wall, you're going to see it's full of colors, different color kind of combinations. It's full of different patterns, and it has this kind of a symmetrical, an abstract symmetrical system, because for me it's like no matter where you go in the city, you're going to find these really cool pockets of culture. So you can be on one side of town and see, you know, this type of ethnic food or this kind of language, and then you go to the other side of the city and it's going to be totally different, but it's still some great food, some great ethnicity, and no matter where you go, it's the same kind of thing happening, but in different contexts. So visually, I wanted to represent that for the city. No matter where you go, you're going to see this really cool thing happening, but if you look at it, it all leads you back to Houston, which is the center. Also, in an abstract way, it kind of forms these wings. And so for me, it's been like, I'm born and raised in Houston. I love this city. I carry it everywhere I go. And I feel like as a kid, I always saw this potential in the city. And I always saw this bigger vision. And for me, I feel like Houston has been this, like that little ugly caterpillar that you have to love it because you always see it, but always knowing there was a better future. And so then, you know, I would say in the last 5 years or so, maybe a little longer, Houston's been kind of in this cocoon. And just now, like, it's emerged, it's broken out of the cocoon. Now it's this beautiful butterfly. And if you look at the Houston as well, it's like an abstract butterfly. And so now Houston's full of brightness, full of color, and now it's taking off and it's spreading that message around the world. You know, I'm definitely humbled that I was basically that the city embraced it. I think everyone who was involved took a huge gamble on whether this was going to work or not. I think it was going to be all good or all bad, actually. And I think what I got the most out of it was the positive response that I got from the majority of people who really see it as an icon now. I never thought that it would become what it is today. It literally took on a life of its own. And I'm just honored, and I'm always humbled when I see it posted, when I see it, coffee mugs, I see tile, I see all these renditions of the artwork, and for me, I feel like, every time I cut a corner and I see something new with that image on it, I'm just humbled that someone went out of their way to create a piece that takes my art even further than I could have taken it myself. A lot of people I still run across people who have never been to it physically, but they know it, they have it memorized, they have a bag of it. So it's really cool that the wall, that there's still that sense of discovery of that wall. People are still discovering it on different platforms, and for me, that's been the greatest honor for me is to see that art live on. So roughly it was about 250 cans. My trusty MTN has been really good to me, and it was about 250 cans of paint. It took over the course of a month. It was a fun experience, and I appreciate the opportunity. So thank you all to the Visit Houston fans for dropping me these questions. I hope I answered them fully, and if not, feel free to drop us a line again, and hopefully we'll see you at the HUE Mural Festival right around the corner.